All right, Carolina Preps fans, spring football tour is continuing into the month of May here at Union Pines High School with Coach Bryan Till. Coach, been in there watching you guys work after. You guys are getting after it.
Yeah, our kids love to lift. They love to get after it. They kind of feed off of each other and bring a lot of energy. And we have a lot of fun in there, so it's good times.
I was gonna say this isn't the first time I've watched you at a weightlifting class. You've just found a way to get those young men to find an extra gear. It seems.
Well, I mean, I think I have fun with it. So I think because of that, they tend to have fun with it. And some days are more fun than others, obviously. But you gotta come in and bring that energy every day. And I kind of have to rep myself up a little bit every day, knowing that those kids depend on me to do that. And I'm proud of what the efforts we're getting every day.
Well, this time of year, we got a lot of spring workouts going around all over the state. How is your spring going? And maybe now, an old veteran coach, you've been around, you've seen a lot. What are you looking to get the most out of your spring?
Yeah, well, you're the young guy until you're not anymore, and so I guess I'm not anymore. What we're trying to do is just make sure we want to look at depth, right? I mean, last year, this time was very different. First year coming in, the kids, can they even understand what the first three plays are, right? But now we're looking at, okay, does everybody understand? Can we just plug a guy in? Does he know? Can guys play multiple positions? Can they go from outside linebacker to safety? Can they, play both the slot receiver and the outside receiver? That's the kind of stuff I think in the spring we're wanting guys to be able to identify with, being able to play multiple positions or be able to, the young guys really see depth. We've got several guys going to be in lacrosse playoffs first week. So that gives us a chance to look at those guys who may or may not be starters, who are going to challenge for starting roles, and we have a little better idea about them. Or maybe like, the sixth guy on offensive line, or we're running 3/4, so the fourth guy in on defensive line, some of that kind of stuff. And we get a lot of reps with those guys. So I think this year, every year you look at it, I think this year that's what we're doing in spring.
Mm-hmm. The realignment, you guys going into a new league. Yes. A lot of shakeup around here, going from the 4 classes, traditional 4 to the 8. How do you feel about this new league, and what's it going to look like not only for you athletically, but for your fans and everybody here in the community as well?
Well, I think, we're still going to play Pinecrest in a non-conference, so there's some rivalry there we're able to retain. So that's good. I think the schools are more our size. When you look at Richmond and Pinecrest in particular, they were pretty much a lot larger than us. Great challenge, great opportunity to play against those guys. But I think the size is better. I think our fans will see that as far as the numbers. But I don't really know a whole lot about some of the guys. I know some of the coaches at West Johnson and obviously we played against Triton and Western Hornet in a non-conference last year, so we've got some ideas about those guys. But I think there's still going to be a lot of things to know and to learn and to grow in the new conference. I think it's going to be a lot. Each week you're going to be prepared. Each week I think that there's a lot of good coaching in that conference that we're going into. A lot of guys. There should be a lot of parity. And so each week, depending on who's hurt and who's not, and what's your depth, I think that's going to play into it. Just like it did in our conference. And there's one more game in the conference. So, it gets to it always counts, but it gets to counting a little bit faster, a little bit sooner. So you better be prepped earlier in the year, even more so.
One last question. Was in there looking at your guys working out in the weight room. You got some good-looking young men. I can tell they're getting at it really hard. Right. Who are some of the guys that we need to look out for that's going to make some noise for your team?
Yeah, I think the big thing is, the average guy in there has gained about 12, 13 pounds since, last year at this time. And so that's been big. I think Hayne Tobias is coming back. He was a big leader on our offense. Our entire offensive line is coming back. So all those guys, Tate Tranel, Will Morton, Avery Neal, Ryan Kimbrough, Bryce Harris, that's a big part to have your whole offensive line coming back. Of course, that means you got to replace them all next year, but we won't talk about that right now. But, that's big. I think that's going to help. We're going to have a new guy under center. So, I think that's going to be big to help either Ian or Ryan or, Vida, kind of get accustomed to things. Those guys are back. And, we've got, both John Ergiza and Caden Sovey coming back, who started at wide receiver. I think Adrian Colon didn't start much, but he kind of came in the last couple of games as a sophomore last year. I look for him to have a big year as a junior. On defense, we're returning 9 out of 11 on offense, so that's why I named so many guys. On defense, we're returning 7 out of 11, and Josiah Sandler, our linebacker core being a big strength of that. Josiah Sandler, Dylan Benedict, Drew Dockery, and Drew's actually going to probably move back to safety and play some outside linebacker. Those guys they really kind of keep the pieces moving. We're going to have to replace one of those inside backers. We got several guys who got options to step up and step into that. We're looking forward to that competition. It's what we talk about in spring. Elijah Clayton is he just had as amazing an offseason as anybody you just saw him hang clean 315 twice in there. He's gone from 188 pounds to about 212 and run a 4.7 240 at the laser a couple weeks ago. He's he's had a great offseason. We just really got to have him play well this year to have a great year. But I got so much confidence that even the guys I didn't name right there, that I'm just really proud to be their coach, and I know some of those guys are going to step up. We'll be talking about them later on in the season.
Well, Coach, you invited me here the day your press conference about a year
Right,
ago when you
right,
became the head coach here at Union
right.
Pines, and to come back and see with my own eyes the transformation that not only these young men have made, but your program and what you're doing is impressive. And congratulations on that. And I look forward to keep coming here and covering you.
Hey, we look forward to seeing you, Chris.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks for hospitality.
Thank you.